I think as of late, there's a pretty nice update when it comes to Toshi. And what is that? Because not too long ago, it was announced that Toshi Mart was live on Farcaster and as well as the base app. Why do I think it's a major victory? It's because Toshi Mart, even though it's by no means the most popular meme coin launchpad out there, I think what makes it quite special is that it's a meme coin launchpad on base. And I think this is a major victory because the base network, Coinbase is layer 2, and Toshi, a meme coin on the base network. So I find that very fascinating. And I think this really kind of solidifies how Toshi isn't necessarily just this useless project that kind of does nothing. Because oftentimes, when people take a look at a meme coin, they think, it must be useless and all this. However, even though I don't think Toshi has the best use case out there, I do like components of, for instance, Toshi Mart, and also when I take a look at Toshi Tools, and that basically gives the tools to help guide someone towards their journey to be building on the base network. And other meme coins out there that I see, when they have, something that they say are part of their fundamentals, and they say, oh, this is another component of our project, but then they don't really focus on that. But what I like about Toshi is that they're treating something like Toshi Mart actually seriously. It's not just treated as a gimmicky thing that they just kind of, put together to say, oh yeah, we have somewhat utility. It doesn't seem like that to me. And also, I like, kind of how they even have Toshi tools as well. So in the grand scheme of things, I don't think this is such a bad thing. I think it's actually a pretty nice update. And I think it also showcases how Toshi actually cares, I think, about something like Toshi Mart. Now, people may be thinking, okay, Toshi has had a pretty good recovery. However, it's still nowhere near where it once was. And I'll agree with that. However, 2 cents that is still on my mind because when I take a look at the market cap it would have at that point, considering current circulating supply, even though nothing I say is financial advice, at that point, market cap would be around $8.5 billion. I get it, it's around a 24x from here. However, it doesn't seem that ridiculous because, we've seen like Dogecoin reach over $80 billion in market cap back in 2021, and we've seen Shiba Inu that year reach around 40 billion, again, in terms of market cap. I don't think this is too outlandish. Now, granted, I don't think Toshi is ever going to gain that sort of attention like Shiba Inu or Dogecoin, but I think this time around, there are bullish factors which could hypothetically, I think, make it very different than the 2021 bull run. Like, for instance, we take a look at how there's over 600 million crypto owners currently. Back then, in the peak of the 2021 bull run, around 300 million crypto owners. So that's basically double. Not to mention, we take a look at Coinbase, publicly listed. It's part of the S&P 500. And I think that right there also gives a lot of credibility to something like the base network, again, which is Coinbase's layer 2. And then Toshi being a meme coin on the base network and also having Toshi Mart, a meme coin launchpad basically on the base network, that I think could indirectly sort of affect Toshi because again, if Coinbase has that good reputation and people take a look at its layer 2 and they take a look at projects on its layer 2, especially during a fully fledged type of altcoin season, man, I'd be very excited. If the base network really gains that sort of traction, I do like Toshi's position because despite it being a meme coin, it's arguably top 3 in terms of popularity right now on the base network. And I think what makes Toshi unique is that we recently saw the Binance US news. We saw Toshi not too long ago get listed on Coinbase. Also on top of that, Toshi, the name is very similar to Satoshi Nakamoto. And also on top of that as well, Toshi, it's named after Brian Armstrong's pet cat named Toshi, of course, and Brian Armstrong is the co-founder of Coinbase. So I like the whole vibe when it comes to Toshi. And when people like to ask me, oh, when is the exact moment in time Toshi's going to do this or do that? To me, I do not know the future. So instead, what can I do? I can just prepare for a moment in time in which Toshi does wake up. Because imagine if not too long ago, I just kind of gave up on, dollar cost averaging into Toshi. I could have very well missed out on the pretty okay recovery that we're seeing right now. Now, granted, there may still be ways to go, arguably, but then at the same time, for me, it's all about preparation. So by me just constantly dollar cost averaging, holding, and just waiting, that way, I am not focused on the short-term price movements. I'm not focused on what the price is doing the day I want to accumulate. It's just consistently just treating it like a routine. I like what it did with Binance US. I like what it did with Coinbase. And now when it comes to Toshi Mart, I think Toshi, in terms of my perspective, I like the direction in which it's heading. However, only time will tell. I'm just going to be dollar cost averaging, staying patient, and that's about it. And feel free to subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I would greatly appreciate it. It's been Lee the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.